Welcome back to the King Film Sports Week 2 college football betting locks and predictions. And let's get started with a recap of the past 2 weeks. In week 0, we went 1-0 on our betting locks. San Diego State -3.5. We had them over Ohio, and they won that one at home. So let's get into week 1 betting locks that we just had. And we went 4-2, another strong week for the betting locks. Utah -6.5 at home against Florida. The spread moved around a little bit. Cam Rising didn't play, but Utah was a superior team on their home field. And then Cal at North Texas. We don't like to take the moral victory here. This spread closed at +5 for North Texas, so Cal was favored by 5. Cal ends up running away with it despite having their starting quarterback gone, but the spread did close in our favor, so that's an encouraging sign there, even though North Texas couldn't get it done this time. UTSA at Houston. Houston covers the 1. Tell your bookie to keep the points there, and they win that. Then Texas Tech at Wyoming. Wyoming wins outright, wore down that Texas Tech team, and as their quarterback Paisley said, they took him to the deep end of the pool and kind of just drowned them there at 7,200 feet. And then North Carolina against South Carolina on the neutral site. This one we just got wrong. South Carolina's offensive line really is to blame. Their defense played fine, but Spencer Rattler couldn't keep himself upright. The O-line was horrible. There was no run game for South Carolina, so we'll have to move on from that one. And then finally, Florida State gets it done easy over LSU. So let's look back at our total record after 2 weeks. We're plus 2.8 on the season, and I think we could be going towards a record-breaking season for the college football here. But as a reminder, we are not going to be giving all of our picks out this week. I'm going to have one free betting lock for you guys in this video, but otherwise, I want you guys to check out the Discord in the top right-hand corner. Click that link and go to the Discord. Our picks are free until Thursday. You can try out the service. And then we are charging, starting on Thursday, the NFL season pass, 50% off right now, and it's $150. So you could make that back in one weekend if you're betting $100 a unit, as we just did this last weekend. So it's literally the best deal of all time, and you will not see this price again out of us. Let's get into the week 2 plays here. We've got first page right here, Purdue at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech pulled away from Old Dominion while Purdue suffered a terrible loss at home to Fresno State. I'm going to take Virginia Tech at home in this one. Then you've got Nebraska at Colorado. And wow, there's a lot of storylines about this one. Nebraska's offense was horrible at Minnesota. Playing on the Thursday night, they'll get slightly more of a rest advantage. Colorado will have these fans bouncing in their return after that huge win. Sanders was great in the win against TCU. Hunter was as well on both sides of the ball. I like Colorado to win this one. The spread has shifted. And speaking of these spreads, you will see that we are using a different layout this week, and that is brought to you guys by OddsJam. They have this real-time sportsbook screen that they offer, and they have a bunch of other products that can help you guys gain an edge while sports betting. We really recommend that you try out this OddsJam sportsbook screen in conjunction with our Discord to get the most accurate spread available. As the sharp among you may know, time is money when it comes to line movement, and already some of our plays for next week have already moved on the line, so we want you to use OddsJam in tandem with our Discord to get the best odds and spreads, because just even a half-point difference can really make the difference of whether you're profitable or not. So check out OddsJam. In the top right, you can try a full 7-day free trial. And if you don't like it, you can always cancel. And then on top of that, we are offering a 25% off code. That code is KFS for Kings Film Sports. Just enter that at checkout. So let's get into the next game. It's SMU at Oklahoma. SMU just got into the ACC, so maybe they'll be looking to show something here. Both teams had pretty dominant wins. SMU was at home against Louisiana Tech. Oklahoma at home against Arkansas State. Pretty much tallied more first downs than Arkansas State had plays in that one. And we're going to take Oklahoma here. This spread is ridiculous at 16.5. I'd lean towards SMU in the spread. I think that this one could get out of hand early, but SMU should stick around. Then we've got Cincy at Pitt, and I'm going to take Pitt here. I'm not really sure about the spread. I think Cincinnati can keep it close, but I like Pittsburgh to win this game outright. And then the big game of the week, the one you guys have all been waiting for, Texas at Alabama. And The line for this game has been out for a while. It's been moving either way, to be honest. I like Alabama here, and I narrowly like them to cover. It's just a lean. I don't have a high conviction play on this game, not even in the Discord, but I think Alabama will win. Milroe did look good in week 1. We'll see how Ewers and Texas can respond to this really tough road environment. Texas almost won last year. That Texas defense is great. So that's the matchup I'm looking forward to, this Alabama offense against this Texas defense, particularly on the run game aspect, because Milroe is not the best passer. But I like Alabama to win this game, maybe by more than 7. It might just be a 7-point game. I think this spread is spot on here. We've got UCLA at San Diego State. UCLA is minus 13. Their game against Coastal Carolina at home first week was a little closer than they may have expected, but they are quarter systems, so none of the fans are there. They don't have very many fans anyways, but I like UCLA to win this one on the road here. San Diego State, after getting that win over Ohio, did not look very good against Idaho State at home. It's a very sluggish offense for San Diego State, which is what we've seen throughout this season. So I don't think they'll put up enough points to keep up with UCLA there. Then I'm going to take Oklahoma State on the road at Arizona State. I happened to watch that Arizona State week 1 game against Southern Utah. And Rashada looked good until about a 2-hour weather delay, and then he really started to look bad. And that was against Southern Utah, which is an FCS school that pretty much doesn't even get to the equivalent of bowl eligible in FBS. So that did not look very good for Arizona State. So I'm concerned about them. Oklahoma State didn't look great in their own right, but had a really easy cupcake game. But I like Oklahoma State to take this one. I don't think there will be any crowd whatsoever after Arizona State's bowl ban, but we'll have to see what happens there. Now, on to the second half of our Week 2 betting locks, and as you can see, we've got that free lock play, and we'll get to that one in just a bit. Illinois at Kansas. I like Kansas to win this one. Give me Bean and Co. Illinois had a really tight run-in with a good Toledo team, but at home, that really shouldn't have been that close. I like Bean and Co. for Kansas to get it done and move them up to a 2-0 start. NC State looked horrible at UConn, but that was a pretty tough road environment. Got to give it to UConn. They narrowly escaped with the win there, did not cover. But I'm going to take NC State to keep it close. I like Notre Dame to win the game with Hartman. That offense is great. They played Tennessee State in a pseudo bye after their Week 0 game, so that's why they have that 2-0 record. But I like NC State to keep it close, but I like Notre Dame to win. And we've got a very interesting one, and this one looked a lot different a couple weeks ago. Utah at Baylor. Will Rising play in this one? I don't know. I don't really think it particularly matters. I like Baylor to keep it close despite that horrifying loss to Texas State. Baylor still seemed to have every opportunity, but my goodness, they were 26-point favorites. There's really no excuse. Aranda has to be on the hot seat. I mean, heading into this match, a win would take him off of it. That was just a horrible loss. I like Baylor to actually keep it close here. I think Shapen and Co. can run the ball enough, but really they haven't shown that at all, and that is very questionable. But I like Baylor to keep it close. It's going to be a tough environment for Utah, and far from what they experienced on their side in that Florida game. Their defense should be good, but I think that Baylor will be able to grind this game away, especially without that first down rule, if they can get enough first downs, but we'll see. I like Baylor to keep it close, but Utah to win that one. Then we've got Ole Miss at Tulane. I like a similar thing as the last matchup. I like Ole Miss to win, but narrowly, maybe a field goal at the gun. Well, Tulane played great at home in a pseudo trap spot against South Alabama, an old rivalry between these two, and I think the fan support will be on Tulane's side here. So I like Tulane to keep it close. Ole Miss, I like Jackson Dart and Co. We'll see if they go with that 2 QB rotation in this one, because this is an important game for them. Ole Miss is favored by about 7, so we'll see what happens there. I like Tulane to keep it close. Then we've got TAMU at Miami. I still don't really believe in Miami that much. We'll see if the fans show out for this one. Their fan support has been notoriously lacking throughout the years, but this should be a good game. They're at least 1-0 coming into this game. Neither of these teams have suffered that brutal blemish that they did last year around this time, but giving Texas A&M to narrowly win on the road. I like Miami to keep this one close as well, but we'll have to see what happens there. None of those teams have really been tested yet. Then we've got Iowa at Iowa State, and Iowa's goal was to score 25 points a game this season. They just came up short against Utah State, kind of signaling that this might be the same old Iowa offense with McNamara. I like Iowa to win this game in Farmageddon, but I like Iowa State to keep it close again. I really do. I think Iowa State can grind them down. This is kind of a trap spot, and it's a rivalry game. Weird things always tend to happen in these rivalry games. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa State won outright, but we'll see if that Iowa offense can get up and going this week. Then we've got Oregon at Texas Tech, and this is my lock of the week for you guys. Call me crazy, but I'm taking Texas Tech +7. Oregon looked great, hanging 80 points on Portland State. Portland State stinks, though, but I think Nix and co will still be good. Texas Tech's defense just got really tired at altitude in Laramie. I think that this is a rock bottom spot for Texas Tech. They were getting a lot of hype going into the season. Lose that opening game just to take everything off of it. Big 12 commish wanted them to beat Texas. I think that they can beat this Oregon team at home. We'll see if the fan support is there. I think it still should be. They haven't even played a game at home yet. That was just the toughest road environment you're going to get in the Mountain West at altitude, and their kicker missed 3 field goals, so that game really shouldn't have even been close for Texas Tech, but they end up losing it in brutal fashion. I think they can keep it close against Oregon here with Tyler Shugg and co. I really think their offense can kick it into gear. They were really having a tough time. It remains to be seen with the offense, but I know they can play better. It's just about how bad they played. So give me Texas Tech +7. This line, as I already mentioned earlier, has already moved in our favor. This is why you guys have to join the Discord before these plays are out so you can get your hands on these good lines, because Texas Tech +7, the difference between +7 and +6.5 is huge. Then we've got UCF at Boise State, and I like Boise State to win this one outright. These are two old group of 5 just powerhouses. I mean, UCF claimed they won that national championship. Now they're in the Big 12, so this is a little bit of a trap spot here. Similar thesis as with Wyoming last week. I think Boise State, it's tough going to altitude, and it's a far cry from being in Central Florida. Central Florida had a great performance and get a long week going into this one. That game was on Thursday, but I think Boise State can carry this one out. They had a tough loss at Washington. That's just about as tough as it's going to get. I like the bounce back effect at home for Boise State here. Then we've got Wisconsin at Washington State. Washington State came off a great win over Colorado State, which is not a very good team, but it was on the road, so they've at least experienced that road environment. Think that Martin Stadium will be packed for this one. Wisconsin didn't look particularly great. Tanner Mordecai had a hard time getting back on his feet. The receivers were dropping balls. The run game wasn't working very well against a horrible Buffalo team, but Buffalo kept it close. Wisconsin eventually pulled away, but I like Washington State to win this one outright. And then our final game I'm going to predict, I'm going to have Cal winning at home against Auburn. We'll see which QB is able to suit up for them, but either way, I like the Golden Bears. Ott and co, I think they can just run the ball all over this Auburn defense, so I'm taking Cal to get the win at home. So we'll see what happens there. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Discord. Check out the Odds Jam and leave your comments on my picks below.